We're at XQuarry today for the International Off-Roading Day in UAE, informally though. But we're going to be having an exciting day in front of us. There are a lot of obstacles that are happening here, and we're going to enjoy them in a very special vehicle. Let's get started. And to speak more about the special vehicle that we have with us today, this is the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392, a very rare vehicle. It's owned by Faraz here. Hi Faraz, thank you for having us here. Can you just take us through what have you already done to this car, which you have amped up everything about it?
Sure.
So please take us through.
So basically it's a Wrangler 392. It's a 6.4 liter engine. It's the V8, which is the top spec of the Wrangler. And pretty much the entire bottom end has been replaced with aftermarket parts. So for example, you've got beadlock rims, black rhino rims. You've got mud terrain tires. We also have Fox 3.0 racing shocks on it. We've got control arms. We've got a steering stabilizer. We've got drag links and custom swing arm.
Also a kid who's crying in the background, in case you guys can hear it.
Yeah. And apart from that, we've got ADD bumpers, winch. So pretty much it's the whole hog, you know.
So since he mentioned some of the things about the car, let's also understand what's important or why it's important. Like I said earlier, beadlock rims is because when you have deflated the tires and when you're going over obstacles, it can be rocks, bigger boulders that you're going across, so that the tire shouldn't pop off the rim. That's very important because you can inflate and deflate the tires, which is also, you have special sort of valves there on the tire, right?
Yes. So you've got this beadlock rim. This is an external rim which fits onto the tire, and you tie it down with all of these bolts. So the tire never pops out.
So that's essentially very important. Now, the suspension that you spoke about, the Fox 3.0 suspension, raises the car from its stock ride height, because of which going over some of the obstacles which we'll be taking you through is extremely important. The aftermarket bumpers on the front and rear, they also help with your entry angle and the departure angle, so your overhangs are well balanced because it is a long vehicle. It's a 5-door, it's not a 3-door. He's also got a winch. Now this winch is special is because it doesn't have a steel cable. It's
got a synthetic polyester rope.
So essentially that's because on a metal cable or a steel cable, though it has a highest tensile strength, when it snaps, there's a whiplash. So it hits the guy who's sitting in the car or the person who's standing and we're trying to recover the vehicle. With this cable, there is no whiplash. It just drops off. So as a safety measure, that's it. It sounds good. The car sounds good. Like the first time we started, it was exciting. But I think that's enough to see it from outside. Let's get in and let's head to the obstacle course. And maybe if we have time, we'll also be hitting some dunes. Let's go. So that you all have the authentic feel of what it feels like to be off-roading, I'm going to be doing this handheld, and also there are going to be shots outside as well. We're in his Jeep. By the way, Faraz travels all the way from Hyderabad to Dubai during the season to off-road in his car, which he leaves out here. How cool is that? We're at the first obstacle, which is called the What's Your Angle, and the reason why it's called like that is it's a very steep climb. Faraz is going to be shifting the car in the highest setting for the suspension, which is the tallest one, so that nothing under the belly gets scratched. I don't think it's going to be possible as well with the kind of setup that he has running on this.
It might touch, but I think we'll be fine.
We should be fine. But before we do that, before we even hit there, we're going to be shifting the car to neutral first and 4 low. It should indicate over there, which essentially now means you're good to go. Now we're at the second obstacle. This is called as the big axle twister. Now, one of the features that the Jeep Wrangler has, or Faraz's car here has, is that we are able to disconnect the sway bars. What happens is when you disconnect the sway bars, your axles are able to move much more freely as compared to when the sway bars are disconnected. That's a safety thing when you're driving the cars on the road. But on off-road conditions, you need them to flex as much as possible. That's exactly what you're going to be seeing in this one. Also, we're going to change some settings now. We're going to be switching again to first to neutral, then 4 low, and disconnecting sway bars right there. On the outside, these guys are going to have one hell of a show, and I love that part with the way the axles twist on a 4x4. Inside here, there's hardly any movement. That is the magic of sway bars. The third obstacle that we're going to be going on is the seesaw. Now, on the seesaw, it's exactly what it says. You go on one side and then you tip over on the other side. This is as easy as it might look. It's very important that you have good throttle control and brake control. Isn't that right? We're not going to be changing any settings on the car. It's running on 4 low and the same settings that we did the wheelie articulation, and we're just going to go for it now. So we're going up. Any moment now it's going to start. This is so smooth. And above. We've landed. We're doing a steep gradient. We're not going up, we're coming down the slope. And to understand, they have mentioned the gradient up on top. But before we even head there, we're going to test out what is the kind of incline that we have using the iPhone. So, as per the iPhone, this is 30 degrees, which is what I said. But we're still going to verify it by keeping it on the edge here. 31 degrees. 31 degrees of gradient is what we're going to do. Let's try it out. So now we're on top of the hill. We're going to go downhill now for the steep gradient. The sign here says 45 degrees, and I would not want to oppose it, though it said 30 degrees at the bottom. But that's at the bottom, that's where I could walk up to. But on the top, it is 45 degrees. We're going to be engaging. Are we switching it to low?
Yeah, we're in 4 low now.
So in 4 low.
We're going to hill descent control.
And we are switching on the hill descent control on this one. Important. We're literally holding on to my life. Yo. This is how it feels on the roller coaster, except it's much, much slower. That was fun. So we're done with the obstacle courses, and I think we had a bit enough of it. We're gonna go someplace which is in abundance when it comes to UAE. That's the dunes, the desert, the sand. Let's try and explore that in this car. We did some crazy obstacles today. One of my favorite was the sand dunes back here. I just love that space. And what better way to celebrate International Off-Roading Day than what we did today. Thank you, OffRoad-Zone, for having us here. This is Aurelious from TCS signing off.